Some wounds aren't visible. They don't bleed on the outside, but they cut so deep inside that they can't be healed. You don't feel them at first, not until the silence gets too loud to ignore. That's when you realize what you thought was love was just a lie. That's when you see the truth for the first time, and it's not the truth you were hoping for. I was sipping black coffee when the email came in. The kind of coffee that burns if you hesitate. The kind of coffee that makes you feel like you're holding on to something fragile, something you could drop in an instant. The kind of coffee you only drink when you need to feel alive, to remind yourself you're still here, in this moment. But the moment I looked down at the screen, that warm, bitter liquid seemed to lose its grip on me. I stared at the subject line. Quick note, re-wedding seating. The email came from my son who I had raised. My son, who, despite everything, had once trusted me more than anyone else. The subject alone was enough to make my chest tighten. I clicked on it. Hi Dad. Quick note, re-wedding seating. A part of me wanted to close the email immediately, to pretend I didn't see it. But I had already been here before. I had already been shoved to the edges of this family. So I read on. We've arranged things so that Mike can sit up front with Mom. I know it's awkward, but would you mind taking a different table? Different table? Like I was an afterthought. Like I wasn't part of this moment at all. It wasn't even about the wedding. It wasn't about the seats. It was about the way they saw me. I wasn't even a part of their lives anymore. I wasn't a father anymore, not in the way I thought I was. I was simply a placeholder. I felt my breath catch in my throat. Not absent, just optional. I didn't reply right away. I just stared at those lines. I couldn't look away, and the longer I stared, the more the weight of those words pressed down on me. The kitchen felt like a different room altogether. A room where I was a stranger. The sunlight moved across the floor, slicing the room into two parts, just like my relationship with them. Half of me in the light, the other half in the shadow. I scrolled up. I reread the previous emails, the RSVP, the excited responses. The "we're so excited to celebrate with you" lie. Everything had already been decided. They didn't need me. They'd already figured it out. I wasn't invited. I was managed. And that hurt more than the silence. Without thinking, I hit decline on the invite. Then, without thinking, I opened a new tab and booked a flight. Somewhere far. Somewhere selfish. Somewhere I didn't have to pretend. 3 days later, another email popped up. This one I wasn't prepared for. It was from my ex-wife. No formalities. Just straight to the point. You always find a way to make everything about you. Her words hit like a slap across the face. The tone wasn't just defensive. It was fearful. It was something I hadn't heard in years. Fear. The fear of being exposed, of being found out. It wasn't just about the wedding anymore. It was about something deeper. Something I hadn't seen coming. I had been waiting for my son to follow up, to send an apology or at least an explanation. But there was nothing. No follow-up. No clarification. No apology. Just silence. I thought about all the little things I had ignored over the years. All those small moments, those fleeting seconds, where the truth was almost visible, just underneath the surface. But I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to acknowledge what was there. Until now. The first time he introduced me to Mike, there was no warmth. No hug, no connection. Just a quick handshake, like two strangers meeting for the first time. And how quickly my ex-wife changed the subject when I brought it up. I remembered the Thanksgiving 3 years ago. My son had brought a bottle of cheap wine. When I asked why he didn't bring the one I gave him for Christmas, he said, "Didn't want to open something so nice." But I saw that same bottle half empty in Mike's cabinet 2 weeks later. I had laughed it off then. Just a coincidence. But coincidences don't stack like bricks. They build walls. It wasn't until the DNA kit came in that I knew I had to face the truth. The test, discreet in its plain packaging, arrived just like every other test kit. Small, harmless, a gift-wrapped lie. I kept it in my desk for 2 days. I couldn't bring myself to open it. I wanted to pretend it wasn't real. I wanted to pretend that none of this was happening. that I didn't feel the cold emptiness in my chest every time I thought about the possibility of the truth. I remembered the Father's Day gift he had given me the previous year, a shaving kit. Inside it was one of his old razors, used, with his DNA still on it. I had kept it. Couldn't bring myself to throw it out, though I couldn't explain why. Now I knew. I swabbed. I waited. 2 weeks later, the results came in. For words. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Not unlikely. Not low. 0. I didn't confront him immediately. Couldn't. I printed the results. Folded them neatly. I slipped them into a manila envelope, then into a wedding gift box. No card. Just the truth hidden behind politeness. I mailed it overnight. 2 days passed. Then the phone rang. It was him. I didn't answer. He called again, then texted. "What is this? Is this some kind of joke?" I didn't respond. I didn't need to. That night, there was a knock at the door. I opened it. There he was, standing in front of me, eyes bloodshot, clutching the envelope like it was going to burn him. He didn't say anything right away, just stared at the envelope, like he was afraid to open it. "Where did you get this?" he finally asked. I didn't answer. I just stared at him. "It's not true," he said, his voice cracking. "The truth isn't always what we want it to be. It's not wrapped up in nice packages or dressed in the language of love. Sometimes, it's cold and sharp, and it forces us to see things we'd rather ignore. But honesty, no matter how painful, is always the path to freedom. Are you ready to face the truth, no matter how much it hurts? Or will you, too, hide behind the lies and let them shape your life? The choice is yours."